just have a way that makes it incredibly easy to build display advertising and mobile ads using just name and address. We basically power several media companies like AOL's Patch, X1, and a few others.
Morning, I'm Chung. I'm from AT&T Interactive. I head up ad products there. What we do is that we sell local advertising, about $1 billion worth last year, all of them in interactive. And really interested to have a great conversation this morning.
Good morning, I'm Steve Mecca. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Medium. What we do is that we index and geolocalize people expressing needs on Twitter, and we match them with local businesses that can answer those needs in real time.
Yeah, hi, my name is Holger Rudolph. I manage mobile and international for Foursquare. Foursquare is a local social network. We've been around since 2009, and we have more than 10 million users at this point. Also looking forward to the talk this morning.
There's an abundance of content, but I don't think any of the content is location enabled or has location attached to it. The big problem is, just as you say, most of the content that's available that has location information associated with it are just locations of Starbucks or places or where cell phones are or check-ins, and there really isn't much meaning that can be derived from these pieces of data. The majority of data that exists on the internet has no location attached to it at all. And so I think that the goal of the entire panel and pretty much everyone in location is to make content more location aware.
There's a bunch of different scenarios that people often display when they're on Mondo Window. And interestingly, it's first figuring out what's going on down below you, but then when people take a deeper dive, it's into the kinds of things that are sort of special attributes of the in-flight use case. You think about what you do when you get on a plane. Because you have this extended period of sitting still, more or less, all of a sudden you have an opening for doing things that you don't normally get to do, like reading a magazine article, or reading a book, or listening to some music, or listening to an audiobook. So those kinds of things we're building into Mondo Window, so you have a chance to do these traditional in-flight activities, but on top of the location information, location graph that we're bringing to the picture.
If the keyword is your primary signal, it's going to be really hard to drill down to something actionable at the local level. And so we've taken the approach of place as the primary signal for social monitoring. And that's just really tunes in the signal for your social data.
About, I guess, an increasing role, particularly from user experience, where we might have been viewed as people that just create pretty things, pretty interactions, and becoming more of these sort of creative technologists. So we're leaning more on people like system architects that'll help say, okay, well, given this mobile experience that has GPS, that has a camera, that uses maps and so on, we need to lean on people that want to understand the volume of a query.
User-generated videos? No. Well, they do have user-generated videos that people are using their product and posting it to their Facebook page, but they're creating content that gets people to talk. Red Bull's doing the same thing, right? They're doing videos of skydivers and surfers and really extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And that gets us to pass the advertising around on Facebook and other places. Is that what we all need to do as advertisers now, is to create these new kinds of video experiences that get people to hit plus or hit like and share it with our friends?
I don't think that video is necessarily the right or wrong method, but I definitely think that it's very, very critical to create content that people will value.
And we've done work in predicting shopping patterns, predicting predicting the types of stores and restaurants you like to visit in the consumer space. Then in the enterprise space, we use location as one of the inputs to help prioritize information that's being delivered to you to make it more pertinent and more actionable. And you see some.
The next evolution of that sort of delivery is going to be really around context. So it's not just enough to know where you are, but what the context of where you are is.
My background, I've been in location for a long time, and mobile even then. And what I find amazing is how the two have really begun to come together and change just about our whole industry, changing all the ways that we we, as consumers, physically interact with the world around us. My company, GeoLoco, we're all about location advertising at scale.
And it's great to be with all of you here today, in part because I very rarely these days get to hang out with the next generation of folks that are creating creative and innovative ideas throughout the world. 11 years ago, I started a political technology company. We helped to build online audiences for major national political organizations. And we actually, at that time, targeted a lot of our information based on geography.
Verifone is, I would say, an infrastructure enabler for NFC ecosystem. So if you look at brick and mortar retail stores, not only retail, but pretty much anywhere where there is payment or card acceptance that happens, Verifone plays in the ecosystem as an infrastructure enabler.
I'm Jeff Aguero from Google. So I think Google has two roles in NFC. One is on the Android side, of making it into the ability to use it in software, and then on the kind of on the Google side of things, which is where I'm most involved. We have a number of efforts. The wallet's obviously probably the most well-known, but we also have a program with business stickers that go to local businesses, generally small businesses, but also large ones, that are NFC-enabled stickers. So you can take your phone and tap it against it and get all the business information that you have in Google Places and Google Maps just with a single tap.
I'm Javed Chaudhry. I head up NFC product management at Motorola. From Motorola's perspective, NFC has been really a market readiness question, and I think from our roadmap, you'll see next year a number of devices rolling out, not just, as Jeff mentioned, from Motorola, but a lot of other OEMs. So we will address that side of the problem when it comes to NFC, that there aren't sufficient devices. Now we'll see devices available. I think there is a lot of infrastructure investment that's taking place on the other side of NFC, which is the payment infrastructure, retail side. And we have all representation here.
Hi, Phil Hendricks with IMMR. We're a research consulting firm based in Atlanta. Virtually all the work we do is focused on helping companies identify, uncover, and figure out what it takes to be successful in very new markets, and certainly this falls under that category.
Start things off with an apology. At my previous gig at VentureBeat, I believe I wrote about the Starbucks digital network before it had even launched, calling it just some internet froth that Starbucks was putting on its lattes. 51 million users later, I think I'd like to rephrase that.
That's okay.
But Starbucks did have this long history of kind of dabbling in digital. During the 90s, it got into the dot-com boom. This seems real. Like you really have users. What's different this time?
Well, I can't speak to what went into some of the other experiments or initiatives.
Before your time.
Before my time. I don't think there's anything that's so radically different other than, Howard came back as CEO in 2008, and he really encouraged us to be very entrepreneurial.
Interesting, and just got a whole lot more interesting since Google changed their terms of service recently. That's kind of caused a bit of a stir and storm, and had a lot more interest coming our way, which is kind of cool. For those that don't know, or many of you do know, Descartes is a long-time white label LDS platform provider. We provide basically the platform that powers many LDS services around the world, about 20 different mobile operators.
And scope-wise, we have about 150 customers. When you break that down to the APIs and methods, the headlines of the New York Times or the movie database of Netflix or location from Jakarta, you're in the hundreds to thousands of actually methods or APIs that would be exposed. We're powering about 35,000 apps currently through those APIs.
Just a background on Quoba, we are one of the older sort of generation of location in the industry, and we provide IP location. We work with a lot of the largest services on the internet, all the way from search to content localization, advertising, fraud prevention, so on and so forth. And
I run the Places registry for Nokia, and this isn't about mobile handsets. This is basically about anything that can talk web services over an HTTP connection. That they're our customers. Now, I don't know how many people have seen Monty Python's Life of Brian, where you have the scene where the Roman centurion rushes up and says, "Who's Brian?" "I'm Brian. I'm Brian. I'm Brian. No, I'm Brian, and so is my wife." Well, this is kind of the situation we have at the moment with data stores and the APIs over the top of them. Everybody has spent the last 5 years building the single, authoritative, canonical, curated data store. The only problem is so is everybody else.
So what Choose On is a personal shopper for deals, and it helps consumers find the relevant deals for them and the brands, products, and services that they love. So
Predictive intelligence brings more foot traffic into retail stores, and foot traffic that has the intent to buy products at a regular price, not at 50% discounts. We do that by making sure that retailers are visible online, because more than 50% of consumer spend in retail stores starts with research online.
Martinez Coburn, and I'm here to defend Daily Deals. I represent Blue Label. Blue Label is a white label platform for local media companies wishing to market local offers, and yes, including Daily Deals. And just to prove that there's still a huge opportunity in the Daily Deal space, the offers that we run on our platform today get broadcasted across 500 radio and television networks across the U.S.
A firm that specializes in social media, but we actually do more than just social. I cover mobile. So I look at the platforms, I look at the strategies that our clients and our readership are using to use mobile as a disruptive force or harness the disruptive power of mobile. And I don't have a horse in this race, but I am doing some research right now around what retail players and brands are doing to interact with the mobile user via the
Pose a Twitter question, actually. How many of you have found yourself frustrated navigating the aisles of a Home Depot trying to find something? Almost everybody. So what Aisle 411 does is allow you to search, find, and map a product down to the section of an aisle it's located. And so we're focused on in-store search.
Shocking, for those of you who don't know, we give away free stuff for shoppers walking into their favorite stores, plain and simple. We created indoor mapping over a year ago, but without the map. We use transmitters to know when you went into the store so we could reward people.
My job is simple. I help developers get their applications onto Nokia platforms, and for me now in North America, that primarily means Windows Phone.
Hi everyone, my name is Ankit. I'm the CEO of Mycello. Think of Mycello as we're building the world's largest collection of indoor maps. Think shopping malls, airports, museums, retail stores, convention centers, conferences, college campus buildings, airports, pretty much all the places where we spend all our time.
In terms of the weirdest pitch, there was one, I won't name the company, but it was a medical device company, not related to local, but the CEO showed us how the device froze fat off of his body.
If this is a space, a location, I kind of view location as a key enabling, probably the most important enabling piece of mobile other than just a basic data connection.
The Luma Partners is a mergers and acquisition advisory firm focused on digital media. We were founded just over a year ago or so. So focused across the spectrum of digital media from search, display, mobile, social, video.
Our focus is primarily on consumer tech or consumer internet, and we see the mobile platform as an extension of that. So we don't really make a distinction. We definitely have more domain expertise in the B2C area, and it certainly has gotten a lot more crowded.